you to get on your feet right now for the hardest working man in social justice, the president and founder of the National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. 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 Hug the person next to you, tell them you love them. Network Change Choir, give a big hand. Give them a big hand. Certainly we're happy to be here another Saturday morning where the action is for you that are here in the House of Justice, 106 West 145th Street in the Village of Harlem. And for you that are listening live on 1190 WLIB AM in New York, and you watching us around the country at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, we're happy to be with you another Saturday morning where the action is. Give a hand to our presider, Attorney Michael Hardy, and our musical director, Brother Brevon Neal. Today is the second day of King Weekend, and the Martin Luther King would have been 87 years old on yesterday. And many of us that, you know, there will be all kinds of ceremonies on Monday. But let me be very clear, National Action Network, our anniversary is this year. We'll be 25 years old, silver anniversary. Started in 1991, in about a month and a half after I was stabbed leading the march in Bensonhurst. We wrote in the incorporation mission statement that this organization was built on the principles of Dr. Martin Luther King. First chairman of our board was Dr. King's executive director, Wyatt T. Walker. As many of you know, I was youth director of the organization Dr. King founded, Operation Breadbasket. So when you see the public officials and others come here on King holidays, because we have lineage direct with the King movement. There's the picture on the wall of Mrs. King bringing me to Dr. King's grave. And she used to come to our convention every year till she died, and her children come now. The reason I say that is the ceremonial celebrants of Dr. King are different than those that are succeeding in what Dr. King stood for. This is not a weekend holiday to go to the mall. When I was a kid, we fought to get the holiday in the first place. Don't forget now, they did not want to give a holiday to Martin Luther King. The only national holiday to a non-president and to a person of color is Monday, Martin Luther King Day, and we fought to get that day. So that is why Monday is not a day off. It must be a day on. Nobody didn't fight for you to go and say, I got a 3-day weekend. It is a day that represents social and economic justice, or you make a mockery out of what Dr. King stood for. I want us to be real clear. So when I see Erica Ford or Aisha Shakur and others doing Peace Week this week, that's Dr. King-like. Monday, we will be in Washington in the morning with our annual breakfast where we having the families of the Charleston 9 that were massacred and former Attorney General Eric Holder them. Then we'll be here in New York at 1 o'clock. We are having a forum every year for 25 years. We have all the top officials come and report what they're doing on King Day. Then at 3, we ended and we're going to march. 1199 and others are joining us. We're going to march through Harlem to the Adam Clayton Powell statue on 125th Street for the $15 an hour minimum wage. Why? Because, and the parents of the mothers and widows of police brutality victims will be helped leading that about social justice. Why? Because that's what Dr. King was about. If we were celebrating your birthday, we'd do what you was doing. This ain't your birthday. So don't turn Dr. King's day into your day. If y'all come to my birthday party, you gonna eat what I like. We're gonna play the music I like. And we're gonna do what we like to do. I had my birthday last October. We had salad, listen to gospel. That's what I do. I go to your birthday, we listen to hip hop, smoke a joint, go to sleep. But that's what you do. I didn't say whose birthday was doing that. So what I'm saying is on King Day, everybody in radio land, do something King-like. Whether you here at 1 o'clock for the forum or march with us at 3, don't be home. Do something. And tell your children what we are having today for. Dr. King died fighting for economic rights, fighting for racial justice, and we still have those fights before us.
Right.
Now, let me say this, and I'm getting into my message. Dr. King was organizing, when he died, a poor people's campaign to go to Washington. The idea was that they were going to, in Washington, camp out until they dealt with some questions of economic justice. He got a call from Reverend James Lawson in Memphis, Tennessee, and said, Dr. King, we have had a problem here with our union, our sanitation workers. 2 of them were killed because they were not giving them the proper refuge or sanctuary when there was bad weather and they were swallowed up by their garbage truck. And we're fighting for them to have their rights, protection, and wages. It's in line with your Poor People's March. Would you come and support us? Dr. King said, all right. He and Dr. Abernathy went into Memphis to lead the march. Some militants, I'm gonna tell the whole story, said, we don't need Dr. King, we don't want Dr. King, old school. And got at the end of the march and started breaking windows and had a riot. That's right. That's what happened. One person died. Dr. King was so humiliated, they rushed him to the Holiday Inn Rivermont. And he asked what happened, because they hadn't planned the march, they hadn't secured the march. And the next day, the New York Times came out with the day of Martin Luther King is over. He can't even lead a nonviolent march anymore. These are black militants set them up. That's why I keep telling you, everybody talking bad ain't bad. And some of them work for the opposition because they can undermine you. Some folk come to civil rights meetings, union meetings, and they're the most militant folk. You ain't never seen them before. They're usually agents for the other side. Because why are you so mad and you just got mad? We ain't never seen you before. Why weren't you mad before? I don't believe in these overnight got mad. You're old as me and you just got mad. I've been mad a long time. So Dr. King said, I've got to come back to Memphis. And we got to organize. And he came back, checked in the black hotel. Because the militants said, why are you downtown at the big hotel? Checked in the black hotel, the Lorraine Motel, and that's where they killed him. He died fighting for union workers, fighting for laborers in Memphis, being undermined by the government and by black militants. That's the story. So Monday, we're going to stand with labor workers. One of the things that's going to happen in this town is that on Monday, not only will we be marching in the afternoon here about the $15 minimum wage, the airport workers will be marching and engaging in creative activity. At the airport. And that is the appropriate thing to do on Martin Luther King Day. Fighting for wages for airport workers. People that run through airports, run into their first class seats with their $1,000 Gucci bags. But you won't give workers wages that could feed their families and educate their children. If a worker loses a bag, you call them in. That's right. But you don't call them in to talk about his medical coverage and his pension and the education of his children. You don't even act like we human unless we lose your little Gucci Poochie bag. Well, Monday we gonna stand up with the airport workers because we matter and we're human and it is our day on Dr. King Day. It's our holiday. So I want to bring the president of 32BJ, SEIU, who is a warrior, a battler. He's been consistent. I knew him before he was president. So he's not one of these late and coming guys. He's been out there a long time in the struggle. And he's led from the back line to the front line, back to the back line. And he's a real champion in the tradition of a Martin Luther King and a Cesar Chavez and others. And I want him to bring on the next few minutes whatever he wants to tell us about Monday. Give a hand, President Hector Figueroa.
Let's give a hand to our Reverend Al Sharpton. So let me start by saying good morning, Happy New Year, Happy Martin Luther King weekend, and to say that 2 years ago, Reverend, and members of the National Action Network, we were also here. When the airport workers were not yet a news story. When the airport workers were raising their voices because they couldn't even have a decent wage, any respect, any dignity. They had to work on Martin Luther King's Day, not able to engage in the social justice that we are engaging today, and they took action. Some of the risks, arrest, and were arrested, and the voice of the National Action Network was there before it all. Let's give them a hand. Let's thank Reverend Al Sharpton for supporting working people. So I want you to hear from two workers who are also again risking arrest. Before I do that, I want to very briefly bring you up to date where we are on this fight. We started on Martin Luther King's Day. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's Day is a day to celebrate justice, and airport workers launched a regional, now national campaign to be visible to those who have the power to make it right for them. And out of that fight, over 45,000 airport workers have received wage increases. In Fort Lauderdale, they are on the path to $13 an hour. In Philadelphia, they are on the path to $12 an hour. In New York, they want $10 and $10. $10.10 an hour. But while we have made progress, make no mistake, we cannot feed our families, pay our rent, look after our children, have less than 2 or 3 jobs working for $10 an hour. We need a living wage like everybody else in the airport, working for the airlines, for the Port Authority. We are not less than them. So we very respectfully ask for everyone in the National Action Network to continue to be supporting us. This year, we have over 8,000 airport workers between Newark, Kennedy, and LaGuardia who are already members of 32BJ on the path to win their fight. But we know that this fight will take time. We thank the governor and the commissioners of the New York side of the Port Authority for what they've done so far. We challenge the New Jersey commissioners of the Port Authority and the governor of New Jersey to equally do right. But we also say, if the commissioners cannot come together on a vote to do what is right for the workers, the director, the governors, they have the power to do this. Let's get this to the finish line. Let's get what these workers deserve, a living wage, benefits, and more important, dignity and respect for the work. So brothers and sisters, members of 32BJ who are here, airport workers, members of the National Action Network, people of conscience, let's welcome our two brothers and sisters. They are really leaders on this fight. Nancy Vasquez, a cleaner at Newark Airport, and Jean Timmer, who is a cabin cleaner at JFK. Let's hear the story, but more important, let's fight with them for what is right, and let's all make the reality of Dr. King, the dream of Dr. King, a reality today. When Dr. King was fighting for $2 an hour, right? In 1963, and you adjust that number by inflation, right? You do a calculation, you put the numbers, you see how much inflation has gone up. The fight of Dr. King today would be $15.51 an hour. So to those in government who say, where does 15 comes from? It doesn't come from somebody playing with numbers. It doesn't come arbitrarily from, some report, some obscure article. This number is not made up. This is the number that the fighters for social justice at the height of the civil rights movement said should be the starting point. The starting point for somebody to live in this country and be able to provide for their family. Let's make that number a reality. Let's welcome our airport leaders.
Good morning. I want to thank Dr. Reverend Al-Sharton, the National Action Network, and everybody who's here to support us. We're so, so grateful. We've been at this fight for a very, very long time. My name is Nancy Vasquez, and I'm a SkyCab at Newark Liberty International Airport for 23 years. I make $2.10 an hour. $2.10 an hour. Now, my job is based on tips. But after smart carts were implemented, lots of kiosks, self-checking machines, baggage charges were applied, people are not as forthcoming. I am not making a living, and I don't want to wait until a major holiday to pay my bills. Now, my co-workers at Prime Flight are making $10.10 an hour. They are often made to decide whether they're going to have a place to live or food to eat. Okay? See, the reason that I'm here is because I can't keep looking at my mom in the face and her looking at the pain in my eyes while I try to figure out how I'm going to pay my bills, how I'm going to take care of her. She's been disabled and she's had 42 operations. Last week, my niece walked into the airport, 24 years old, to get a job. I put my head down and I said, I can't allow her to go through this. This fight is not just for us, it's for our family. Today, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. And people, your lives matter. My life matters. We matter. You know, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in times of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenges and controversy. Dr. King believed in changing hearts, and eventually the laws will change. So we march Monday, March 18, in solidarity with everyone, North Liberty International Airport, all the airports, and they'll be here for $15 an hour and the union, living wages and job security. Because we know that if we don't do it now, if we don't fight for King, for what King stands for now, it will never get done. The other thing that we're going to do that day is we're going to do civil disobedience. Now, civil disobedience is an outward reach of the law to change the law that affects our morals. And my morals been affected for a very long time here. It's time we make the change. And Monday the 18th, in solidarity, we're all going to march for where Dr. King stands. Justice for all. Now, here at 32BJ, we also have a chant. When I say, when we fight, you say we win. Okay. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. SEIU, let's go.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's an honor to be here at the National Action Network. My name is Gene Timmer. I'm a cabin cleaner, and I'm so honored to meet Al Sharpton in person. Never met him. And I'm like a nephew to him because I'm a voice of a lion. Because when you have a voice, you could be heard. A closed mouth do not get fed. So, what King stand for, remember, Dr. King. Men are kings, women are queens. Okay? So, let's stand for the character that we are. Black is very beautiful. Like she said, for me to say it again, black is very beautiful. That's why they always attack the skin color.
Yes, yes.
And we are the #1 race that they always try to defeat us in so many angles.
All right.
But our math is always right because we always on time in the name of the Lord. Let me say it like this. I'm a cabin cleaner at JFK. I started September 8th. I've been there for like 5 months. It seems like I've been there for 10 years. By me cleaning cabins with these biceps that's been built, you know, by me coming to work diligently, early, what's expected of me, and for me to work under low wages, not having equipment, not having the safety precautions to work properly, to perform for what you expect of me. So what do you expect? A good job? I don't think so. Don't get me twisted now. I'm a smart worker, not a hard worker. You always gotta work smart in what you do, but never work hard for someone who don't respect you for what you do. Are you here with me now? Now, we are great souls within our black community. You have music that inspires you. You have a great voice like a lion, like Al Sharpton inspires you. You got the president of BJ32 that inspires you. You got the sisters and black brothers behind me that are willing to give you a hand that inspires you. Like Al Sharpton said, Monday is not a day of a holiday where you look cute. Put on your camouflage, put on your boots, raise that fist for justice. And let's fight for what rightfully ours. About 400 years ago, we're still fighting. So that means we have the heart of a lion to rule over triumph. They try to break us down in so many ways because black is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
And they try to make us look ugly.
Yes.
But we're never ugly, you know, and we're gonna fight until the end. Because when you go in a race, you don't race just to run. You race to the finish line. And that's what we're gonna do each and every year. And this is my new home. I never knew that the network was in Harlem. You learn every day. And I will participate because I'm a great leader and a great king. And we all are kings and queens. Don't let that pass you. You have to be born as an infant to become a prince, to become a king. It's a learning stage. We go through phases in our life to seek out our victory. One more thing I gotta say, a challenge is a motivation. And satisfaction will be definitely victory for us one day. Because Martin Luther King said, I had a dream. Some of y'all are dreaming the other way, but we are dreaming to success in the near future. I guarantee you that. Thank you.
Give them a big hand. Give them a big hand. One of the things as we are dealing with King Weekend, and I have dealt with some of this on my MSNBC show in the morning. Don't forget, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning we'll be live again on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton and MSNBC on King Weekend. When you look at how they're treating workers, wages, when you look at this week, the Academy Award comes out, and no people of color nominated for the top awards. When you look at the fact that throughout the year, you had everything from Creed to Straight Outta Compton to Idris Elba, Beast of Nations, none of them good enough for the nomination. We ain't talking about winning. Not even a nomination. All white. Now these are the liberals, progressives, folk that want to fund us against our own children, won't fight each other. But in their business, all white. Then when you look at how the Republicans are stacking the courts to reverse the very things that Hector was talking about in the height of the movement. Let me tell you something. I want you to be clear on King Weekend where we are. Why we have to be with the airport workers. Why we have to march on Monday for the $15 wage. We are right now, 2015, facing the dismantling of everything Dr. King stood for. In front of the Supreme Court right now is the Fisher case, where they're saying that they don't want race considered at all in admissions to school. Now they already watered it down with the last case saying, well, race can be a factor but not the factor. Now they want it taken out, which means that if they pass that, it will carry over in employment. So that means that I could come from a civil rights group, National Action Network, or Hector Figueroa could come from 32BJ, or George Gresham from 1199. We can't even ask how many blacks or Latinos on the job because race couldn't be a factor. Same time they have the Fredericks case, where they're going to try and break the unions, where you can be the recipient of what unions fight for, but you don't have to pay union dues. I want you to understand what the Fredericks case is. They're saying that labor unions can go in and fight to get your wages up, but you don't have to be a member of the union. Well, let me tell you what that means. Unions can't fight without paying the staff and the researchers and the lawyers and the overhead for the officers. All of that, they got to pay for. They are fighting people who hire the best lawyers, have the best research, have the biggest offices, have the best spokespeople. So now they want you to say, you don't have to pay to fight on your behalf. We'll break that down, but we got billions on the other side to fight against you. So they try to trick the workers against the union, when the union is there to make sure that your dues is being used so you have the best to fight for you, since they got the experts on the other side justifying why you ought not get nothing. So if the Supreme Court votes against affirmative action and against labor, that dismantles what King stood for, because that's what he fought for. So you have all these people out here on Monday talking about Martin Luther King that are at the same time advocating dismantling everything King stood for. Nothing more hypocritical than a right swinger talking about Dr. King Day. Guy called me on radio yesterday. Well, I'm with Trump and Cruz and that crowd. Good. I'm with Dr. King. Well, they are too. Well, if you with Dr. King, how are you against a $15 minimum wage when he fought for the equivalent of that when he was alive? If you with Dr. King, how are you against making sure people of color are represented at every element and every part of this society? How are you against social justice? How are you against justice for the Gardner family? I mean, you can't make Dr. King what you want him to be. Dr. King is not no silly putty that you can shake around where you are. He stood for something. Or Sister Sanchez talking about they're going to do civil disobedience. Let me tell you something. Henry David Thoreau, one of the pacifist leaders in this country's history, he protested and they put him in jail. And one of his friends came to visit him, Hector, and said, his friend looked at him and said, Henry, why are you in jail? And he looked through the bars at his friend and said, given the injustices out there, the question is, why aren't you in jail with me? I remember several years ago when we were protesting the Navy bombers in Vieques. And we went to Vieques and I went to jail. They gave me 3 months. And I went because many of our labor leaders went to jail with us for Amadou Diallo. And a lady asked me last week, do you ever regret that you went to jail 3 months for the protest, the Navy bombing in Vieques? I told her no, because the Navy bombing was causing asthma and cancer to babies and children unborn that'll never know my name or Dennis Rivera's name will have a healthier climate. If your life does not mean something that will outlive you, then you're wasting the air that God has given you. You want to live so that your life means more than you just lived and died. I remember when I was starting to grow up in the ministry, I was a boy preacher. I thought about that when I was listening to these 2 airport workers. A lot of the guys that started ministry with me wanted a big church. Why you want a big church? Because they wanted a big house and a Cadillac every year. That's before they had Mercedes and all that. I always wanted to be the kind of preacher I became, to fight like Dr. King. That was my motto. Why? Because at the end of the day, some of the guys I grew up with died. We couldn't bring their Cadillacs to the graveyard. And they got other preachers in their big church. Martin Luther King chose to fight. They had big preachers that made a whole lot more money than Dr. King did. That were his contemporaries. They had preachers that had much finer cars. In fact, he had an old car. And only died with $5,000 in the bank. But on Monday, they won't be celebrating them preachers with big Cadillac's birthday. On Monday, they won't be celebrating them dead rich preachers' birthday. On Monday, they won't celebrate the preachers with the biggest church on Monday. But Monday morning, you won't be able to go to the bank and you won't be able to go to work because the federal government and the state government and the city government will be closed for a black preacher without a big church that stood up for something. Martin Luther King Day is a day to tell your children that if you stand up for something, then your life has meaning. Don't judge your life by what you have, because what you have can be taken from you. But what you stand for, can't nobody take from you what you stood up and represented. I was watching the other night the Republican debate. Whole lot of arguing about nothing. Now they had a debate in North Charleston. In North Charleston, not only down the road was the Mother Emanuel AME Church, where 9 people were killed by a racist terrorist during Bible class last year. And that never came up about what they were going to do about gun control and racism. Right in that town of North Charleston, Walter Scott was shot in the back on video by a North Charleston policeman. Our chapter down there handled it. I went down there on it. They never brought up police protection. That's why we march. Because if we don't march, they will not discuss our pain. Why do we march? Because we must make this country deal with issues it would not deal with on its own. Nobody going to jail because they jail freaks. They going to jail because if it takes us stepping over the line to get you in line, then we'll step over the line to get you in line. But the issue is you ought to be in line in the first place. What kind of people would work mothers, give them $2, $3 an hour and tell them to live off tips? And call yourself decent human beings? What kind of people will wait on brothers to clean out cabins so you can lay back there and snore while you check your stocks on the internet and don't care if they ain't making but $4 or $5 an hour, and all they want is to be able to have medical care and pension and take care of their children? What kind of people are they? Walked and jaded. I looked the other day, when George Bush left the White House, we losing almost 800,000 jobs a month. Little under 800,000 a month. Since Barack Obama been president, not 1 month we didn't produce jobs. Every month since he's been president, jobs produced. And got you running around. I don't know what Obama did. He took the country that was headed into depression and turned it around and cut unemployment in half to 5% and cut black unemployment in half to 8.3. That's why King died, to give us the right to vote, so we could take somebody to turn this around, and we're not going to give it back. Well, we're mad. Why y'all gonna have the politicians? Because we made them what they are, and we want them to report to us. Now, if you don't believe in that, you do something else. Well, one thing you ain't never got to worry about me is breaking up into your stuff. So don't break up in mine. I don't interrupt nobody's rallies, nobody's service. Whatever you do, you do. If I ain't invited, I ain't coming, and half the time I ain't coming if I am invited. But we do what we believe in, because we trying to get things done. I work with the governor, I work with the mayor, or I work against them. Whatever it takes to get it done. The goal is to get it done. And that's what real activists are. Well, I don't deal with him. I'll deal with whoever. Or I will not deal with whoever. Don't matter to me. I'll put on a tracksuit to go to jail. I'll put on a new suit and go to TV. Don't matter to me. Well, Mal, you wear your tracksuit sometimes. That's what you go to. I don't wear a good new suit to jail. I might have to sleep on the concrete floor. I know you're messing up nothing. The idea is what you achieve. And that's why they don't want to see the continual union of labor and civil rights, because every time we are together, progress is made. And that's what Dr. King was about. Let me say this. Labor and civil rights came together in this time. And that's what turned around stop and frisk. When we marched, tens of thousands of people down Fifth Avenue in a silent march. That's a historic day now. Everybody, Hector was part of the coalition. It was Hector and George and Mulgrew and I, all of us, and everybody sitting up in the meeting, big round tables, and everybody trying to figure out who was going to start and make the best speech. We decided there wasn't going to be no speaking.
All right.
So you ain't going to worry about who's going to be on the news that night, because you ain't talking. Silent march. And all the egomaniacs jumped out there, I ain't never heard of no silent march. We need to make noise. No, you just want to get on TV. Our marching feet is going to be the message. If we put the numbers out there, that's the statement. When you could put 70,000 to 80,000 people down Fifth Avenue where the rich ladies walk their poodles on a Sunday afternoon, and they look up and saw 80,000 of us coming, you don't need no speech, they get the message. What helped turn it around. That is what changed the tone, and de Blasio came in and they brought down stop and frisk. The lie they told was if we stop and frisk, crime's going up. Crime went down lower last year than it had been in many years. And we're going to keep fighting till we get justice for Eric Gardner's family, his mother and widows here. We're going to keep fighting till we get $15 an hour wage from the airport to the subway. We need wages, and we need coverage, and we need security for workers. That's what Dr. King was about. Let me say this in the few minutes left on the air. One of the things you've got to do is you've got to understand one of the real differences between Dr. King and others is he fought with a surety, a certainty that the right would overpower the wrong. You can't fight cynical. There's too much cynicism out here. When people talk about, well, I don't think nothing's gonna happen no how. They're gonna have people out here this year telling folk don't vote because they know the right wing can win if they can talk you out of voting. Every vote that you don't cast is a vote for the folk that you don't want. There's a lot of cynicism out here. Well, things ain't gonna change and things ain't no different. There's a whole lot of difference between George Bush and Barack Obama. Don't let anybody tell you that lie. There's a whole lot of difference between who's gonna be on the Supreme Court. And let me tell you something, we talk about, Hector referred to the March on Washington in '63. One of the things that I always study about that march is when they went to Washington, you got to remember the climate. Talking about cynicism now. When they went to Washington, many of them who had been marching in the South were still in jail. James Farmer, who was part of the leadership of the Civil Rights Movement, the head of CORE, was in jail in Louisiana and couldn't make the march. They had beaten and brutalized many in the South. They rode to Washington on segregated buses. Don't forget, they still had blacks below the Mason-Dixie line, couldn't even ride the front of the bus. Couldn't use a public toilet from the deep South all the way to D.C. If you had to use the bathroom, you had to go in the woods. Couldn't stop and buy a cup of coffee. But despite all of that, murdered Medgar Evers, despite the murder and the jail and the segregated facilities and lack of accommodations they had, Dr. Marcus Bright King got up that day and refused to be cynical. The militants were saying this is a nightmare. Dr. King said, despite the darkness of the hour, I still have a dream. Leaders do not embrace the nightmare. Leaders dream beyond the circumstances. Leaders don't run people down. Leaders lift people up. I don't need you to tell me how bad I'm doing. I know how bad I'm doing. I don't need you to tell me how much I hurt. If you're in pain, you don't need a doctor to tell you how much the pain hurt. I had a toothache the other week. I went to the dentist. I didn't need the dentist playing in my mouth talking about that hurt though. That really hurt. Oh, it's bad, ain't it? I need you to stop the pain. Difference between masochists and leaders. Bunch of masochists running around here trying to lead folk, telling us how much we hurt. Hurt, ain't it? Ain't nothing gonna help, is it? Your leaders ain't nothing, the politicians ain't nothing, your mama ain't nothing, just masochists. Enjoying our pain. I need somebody to break through the nightmare and dream anyhow. Said, I don't care how dark it is, there's light anyhow. I'm gonna keep marching, I'm gonna keep going. Because I'm not going to give up. There's a bright side somewhere. Why? How do you know? Because we've been through worse than this. We've been treated worse than this. And somehow we made it. And if we stay together now, if we stand together now, if we don't give up, if we don't give out, we can win just like our parents won, just like our grandparents won. We're going to dream beyond the nightmare. One young lady told me at a college, Hector down, Gainesville, Florida, thought she was saying something cute. Said, Reverend Al, I respect you, been in this a long time, but this ain't your mama's civil rights movement. I said, yeah, it ain't. But I am my mama's son. out there talking smack, you must not know who my mama was. My mama took a welfare check and some food stamps and got on arthritic knees and scrubbed floors so that I could run for president one day. And you ain't never done nothing. Talk about this ain't my mama's movement. No, I'm my mama's son. My mama fought for me. My mama wept for me. My mama made a way for me. I'm not denouncing my mama for some Negro that just woke up this morning. The only way you can make it is you got to denounce those that paved the way for you. The only way you can get some attention is that you got to try and desecrate those that paved the way. So you get up and talk against your elders and talk against your parents so you can entertain some little white kids that'll put you on television. You are nothing but a traitor to your own history. Rather than selling out your parents, stand on the shoulders of your parents. Yes, every generation needs to change and update and upgrade the movement. But you don't have to denounce what came before you. That's why I celebrate Dr. King Day. No, I don't do it like Dr. King did it, and young folk like kids won't do it like me, but I celebrate Dr. King because I couldn't have done nothing had he not done it first.